Hi, my name is Victoria Cannon. I grew up on the New Pascua Yaqui Reservation located in South Tucson, and I currently go to Fort Lewis College, which is located in Durango, Colorado, where I'm a sociology and human services major and with a pre-law minor. Or, yeah, minor in pre-law. I chose sociology and human services because my family has dealt with social services, so it's definitely from a personal aspect that's why I chose it. And I just wanted to, because I saw, while I was going through the experience that I went through as a foster parent for my siblings, I saw where we could improve, and I wanted to have a voice and do that, but I knew I needed to have a title other than like a foster parent, so I needed to, go back to school and get my degree to be able to help out my community better. So I did start out as an athletic training major, so it's a completely different field than what I'm currently going into now. And, that's because, in high school, I thought that was going to be my path. And then I went to college and realized it was more of like a hobby, something that I did to keep me busy in high school. After taking a break in school and actually, living life and going through my own life experiences, I kind of was able to find like my place and where I kind of wanted to be in the real world. So I first started as an athletic training major, and then I switched to an early childhood education major, and then I ended up with a sociology major before I left Fort Lewis. But then when I came back, it had switched to sociology and human services was what it was called then. So that's how I kind of got to where I am now. So I mean, I definitely would want to go into like social services within the reservation. If that's not like a possibility, then I'd probably either decide to go back to school for like a master's degree or even look into law schools. So that's why I did choose my pre-law minor. I mean, I think I'd want to work primarily with our community because, just because our community has given us so much as far as like the education and the other social services that they provide for us. So I do want to kind of like pay it back or pay it forward. I think my biggest success would be just, going to school off of the reservation, making that venture outside of my comfort zone and going to a school that's, far away from my community, far away from my family, and being able to still do well and then, eventually finish next semester or next spring. So, that's not a thing that a lot of Native kids, one, get the opportunity to do, but also like to complete as well. It allows me to kind of be like a vessel of information for not only my own family, because, I am the oldest of 25 grandkids. So, I have that knowledge for them that they can, tap into. So, but also just other kids in the community as well who don't realize their options outside of, the U of A or NAU or ASU or Pima. Well, Fort Lewis did have the major that I was originally going to go to. So yeah, so that was one of like the deciding factors. But also it was close enough where I could come home for holidays, but it was also far enough where I wasn't going to be where I didn't feel obligated to come back home if there was an issue, like a family issue. So it was just a safe distance for me to be. Yeah, so that was like my nana's decision really too. So she kind of told me like you're not allowed to apply to schools within Arizona. They have to be further out because she knew the type of person I am. As soon as my family calls, I'm gonna drop everything and come running. So she didn't want that to get in the way of me getting my education because she's always felt like, the biggest thing you can do for your siblings, you help them a lot right now, but the biggest thing you can do is get your education and, you know, it's going to help in the long run and hopefully inspire them to go back to school and, kind of get their stuff together to be successful. Being an Indigenous or Native person who's, pursuing a higher education and, going to receive a higher education, as people were resilient and were able to overcome, the education system was never meant to see kids like us, be successful. So I think that's kind of always been like in the back of my mind, like knowing I came from a reservation that had, not tribal schools, but kids were, it was predominantly Native American students, but they never did well. Um, and I just wanted to always, you know, show not only outsiders that my community was more than the statistics that they might see, but also show, the students and the kids on the reservation that, that they don't have to live up to those statistics or live up to those stereotypes, and they can, education can be really like a key to more opportunities outside of the reservation and ways to just help on the reservation. As far as being, disabled and getting a higher education, I think that's kind of what I would want to be, more of like an advocate for disabled individuals who think that maybe a higher education is impossible. Being able to receive a higher education, and especially during the COVID pandemic, the way we've been able to switch to online. And honestly, that's kind of the reason why I've been able to go back to school, because now it is an option, when before, when disabled people were asking for these kind of accommodations to be made for them, because being disabled has nothing to do with your ability to do the work. It just sometimes means you can't get up to do the work. So, and I think this is a good way to show that we can show up and do the work, and we are, you know, willing to do it if you're able to accommodate us and make those kind of changes that we need in order to finish.